Hey sis, I'm Ashley Goode, a brand strategist that helps women like you create a business doing what they love so they can finally leave their 9-to-5 and live a life that they've always dreamed of. If you have a purpose and are ready to put it into action, you're in the right place. I'm here to provide you with business and marketing tips to guide you in your transition from employee to full-time boss. If you're ready to stop playing small and start thriving as a full-time entrepreneur, let's go. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Branding with Purpose. This is my third time trying to record this video, so let's do this. So if y'all hear noise in the background, I do want to apologize. I think it's the AC. My goal is to actually get like a microphone that I can use moving forward, so that way we aren't trying to hear the surrounding noise. But today we're going to be talking about how to create engaging social media graphics and captions. I know previously we've been talking about content, so I want to keep the momentum because Instagram is forever changing. If you haven't kept up with Instagram, they are recently, early in the beginning of the year, they decided to shift from just photo sharing to actual video sharing, because you know they have Reels, IGTV. They want to continue to push video sharing. Also, we learned earlier this week that IGTV is no longer going to really be a thing. It's going to be just called Instagram video, so it's not going to be a lot. I guess it's just the way that it's formatted on your profile. You might see change. I really don't know how that's going to change the algorithm. The other one is, one big thing a few weeks ago was hashtags. So normally there's a total of 30 hashtags that you can use, but now they're only recommending that we use 3 to 5. And I think it's so you can make sure that your content is relevant to the hashtags you're using, because a lot of people aren't using hashtags that are relevant to their content. So as these things happen and new features and things come up, it can become very overwhelming. So I want to make sure that we're mastering our content, so that way we're not allowing the algorithm change to affect us. I'm not saying we shouldn't pay attention to the algorithm, but when you create content that actually speaks to your audience and is strategically placed in a way that highlights whatever you're selling, your services and stuff like that, I believe you can be successful outside of having to worry about what kind of hashtags you're using, how many videos you're putting out, stuff like that. Because essentially, yes, you want to make sure that you understand the algorithm, but you don't want to become so overwhelmed with it that you feel like, you know, oh my god, like Mr. Krabs meme, what am I doing, right? So I believe in the bread and butter of creating strategic content that reflects your brand, that reflects what you're selling, and also messaging and captions that speak to your audience. So I wanted to dive in to talk about how to create engaging social media graphics as well as captions, so that way when you are presenting the content that you plan online, that those two things align and you're able to communicate properly what you're selling. Of course, I have my handy dandy laptop for our notes. So first, we're gonna kick off with the social media graphics, right? Social media graphics are gonna be the way that you actually essentially catch the attention of your audience. So when you're scrolling, it's that graphic that catches your attention, whether you want to read what's on it, where you want to take a look at it, it grabs your attention. So in order for it to be engaging, you want to make sure it's clear and it's legible. So that when I say that, that means no blurry pictures, no font that's hard to read, no graphics that are kind of sketchy and etchy. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you just want to make sure it's clear, it's not too busy, it's attractive, and it speaks to the point that you're trying to get across. Whether it's a quote, whether it's a flyer promoting something, or just you sharing some information, you want to make sure that it's legible, because you want to stop the person mid-scroll to get their attention, right? There's tons of things online, but by dedicating your time to creating a graphic that is legible, that's clear, that's attractive and appealing to your audience, that is something that you want to make sure you spend your time doing, because it's going to essentially get their attention to ultimately read what's at the bottom instead of keep scrolling, right? So a good way to do that is to use Canva. I'm not sure if anybody's heard of Canva, but Canva is very popular in the business world. But Canva is a free app as well as a website that you can use to design flyers and graphics for anything from doing presentations, Instagram, stories, anything like that under the sun. You can honestly use Canva to design. I think it's great for beginners, especially because now we want things to be easy and quick, and Canva is easy as pick a template. You can pick a template and actually customize it to your liking. add your brand colors and things like that, or you can start from scratch. Me, I am a Canva type of girl because it's easy and straight to the point. Sometimes we think in order to design a social media graphic that we have to have experience in Adobe or experience or be this certified graphic designer. Absolutely not. You don't have to. As you get into the app, you'll kind of understand how to use it. If you guys do want a little bit more insight on how to use Canva, like a basic one-on-one training, let me know and I can make a video specifically for that. But that is a great place to start creating your social media graphics. Also, the second thing that I want you guys to know as far as when you create social media graphics, you want to make sure they're on brand. So when I say on brand, I'm talking about that it reflects your brand colors and your brand aesthetic. So I think it's important to get a brand kit, especially when you're starting out. A brand kit includes your logo. It includes like your type suggested font that you might use, as well as like your brand aesthetic. When I say aesthetic, it's almost like the style of your brand per se. So having a brand kit is good because it helps. Even if you hire a designer, it helps them understand the flow and the look and the identity of what your brand is. So having that brand kit helps you utilize it when you're creating a social media graphic to make sure it has the right colors, the right font. So when someone sees that graphic, they're like, okay, I know that's Ashley Goode. I know she's selling this. So you want to make sure they're able to associate that graphic with who your brand is, so they can identify the graphic with you, what you're selling, whatever the case may be. And also a good feature in Canva that I love is a brand kit. So if you were to use Canva, I think you might have to have Canva Pro, I'm not sure, but Canva actually has an area for the brand kit, so you can upload your own colors, your own font and things like that. You can also upload your logo, or you can create a logo on Canva to get started. So that way, you know, it's a good, maybe you're not investing wholly right now, but it's a good way to start. If you are interested in joining Canva, I do have an affiliate link in the description where you can get started, check it out for yourself and see what it's about. And then lastly, you want to make sure that your social media graphic goes with your caption, right? So if I am selling, right now a big thing is Black Friday, so if I'm selling a course for Black Friday, I want to make sure that my caption is in connection to it. If I'm talking about, this may seem very general, but this is the best example I can give. If I'm selling a course for Black Friday, I'm not going to be talking about how good my shoes look. No connection, completely different. You want to make sure your social media graphic has something to do with your caption. So for example, if I'm going to be selling a course for Black Friday and I want to use that caption to inspire them to make the purchase, everything that I'm talking about in the caption has to appeal to what the social media graphic is presenting. So that's where I want to go into creating engaging captions. So captions are basically writing, right? Writing that engages the person a little bit more deeper past the actual graphic. This is the way that you're going to communicate to your audience. You're going to grab their attention. More than likely, this is how you're going to encourage them to make the sale, as in connection to if you're selling something or if you wanted them to follow you. Whatever the goal is, that is what you want to present in that caption. So the first thing you want to do is define your brand voice. Your brand voice is how your business communicates online. It's how you talk, it's the tone of voice, it's the language in which you communicate to people. So like for example, for me, because I would say I have more of a personal brand, so yes, I am a marketing coach, but I am what I'm selling, right? So I use my personality to reflect how I communicate to my audience. So you may hear me be like, yes, you go girl, or you know, you got it, just encourage you in a way that reflects my tone of voice and language and how I speak. So those are the type of things that I use to communicate. Brand voice seems very intimidating, but it's really just how you communicate and how you talk, right? So pretty much if you are your personal brand and that is how you speak that way to your audience. Sometimes we feel like we need to be very formal in order to communicate things, but when you be yourself and you really use your own voice and your own tone and your own language, people feel related to you. They feel like it's more authentic and they kind of feel like they're talking to their friend. So that's a good way to actually attract people to kind of, if you're trying to sell in your caption, to get the sale. Outside of that, if you don't have a personal brand, you have a business, whether you're selling a product or if you have an organization that is mainly focused on the actual brand itself, This is a good way to establish, you know, what kind of personality does your brand have? Is it fun? Is it sassy? Is it professional? And once you establish that, it'll be easier for you to understand which type of tone of voice that you want to use. Is it very formal? Is it very like matter of fact, that you're giving out facts, informations, and things like that? So that'll help you understand how you would need to speak in those captions. And then once you define your brand voice, then you want to decide on the topic that you'll be discussing. So you want to go back to your content calendar and make sure for that day that you're going to be posting, you're creating something that is surrounding what you're discussing, which overall will connect you to having that social media graphic that is relevant to the topic that you're going to be having for that day. So when you write that caption, you want to make sure it's relatable and it prompts your audience to engage. So in order to do that, you want to consider the length of your caption. So you might see those long captions where you don't want to read, and you might see those short captions where it's quick and easy. So in order to determine whether you're going to do a short or a long caption, you have to do more research as far as your audience. So I don't know if we dived a little bit into this in previous videos, but when you're deciding who you're going to sell to, you want to make sure you do research as to if they enjoy long captions or if they enjoy short captions. So with my audience, I find that they love the long captions that are encouraging, that are inspiring, that share a little bit about who I am, and then also have tips underneath them so that they can learn, right? So for other brands, it might be short, simple, and straight to the point. A way to do this is trial and error. I mean, sometimes you can't really, sometimes it's hard, especially when you're new, to figure out exactly, okay, well, what is my audience like? So I would say integrate them both. Try them both. Try long captions, try short captions. And when you look at the analytics and see like, okay, so they love these inspiring things, they're reading these, or that maybe you get no attention or no engagement. They're not liking it, they're not commenting or anything like that, but those short captions you're getting more attention to because they're straight to the point. Then you understand more, okay, the length is short, so that's what I need to go with. So once you understand the length, know that that's what you can stick to, that's what your audience likes, and it keeps them engaged. So in order to at the end kind of seal the deal at the end of your caption, you want to create a call to action. A call to action is basically just encouraging your audience to engage. So for example, let's stick to we're doing the Black Friday sale. So we have our cute graphic. We determined that, you know, our audience is more effective with reading short captions. So in that, we want to make sure it's relative to, hey, I'm selling this course on how to build creative content. At the end, you want to create some form of engagement or call to action. So I would say, click the link in my bio to register now, or click the link in my bio to purchase this course. And all the time, it doesn't necessarily need to become link in bio. It could be, you know, maybe I tell a story about how, you know, I struggle with building content, and, you know, these are what I struggle with, but this course has helped me so much. If you struggle with building content too, drop a heart in the comments if you agree. So simply prompting them to do something to engage in the comments, or to initiate to go to your bio and do something. So, or share, or save this. These are good ways to see how your analytics are working. So when you look back at how many people shared, saved, commented, and stuff like that, you can see how effective your content is. So don't feel also, don't be too hard on yourself, especially starting out. So when we create content, sometimes we feel like we need to have it all figured out, or we have so many things that we want to try, but it's okay, because give yourself room to experiment, give yourself room to make it fun and creative. Because when you're creating content, yes, you want to appeal to your audience, but you also want to try some things, try some new things. It's okay to you know, maybe you're trying some graphics out because you're not sure, and that's how you get to know your audience. Even blatantly, like I was talking about the lengths of the caption, you can ask them on your story, like, hey, do you guys prefer to read long captions or short captions, or find a way to kind of, you know, involve them. That's what they love to do. Creating engaging content simply just like that is what keeps your audience coming back. And lastly, I'm gonna talk about hashtags. So we talked about a little bit in the beginning of the video of how we have the option to use 30 hashtags, but Instagram prefers that you use 3 to 5. I think the importance in that, because I'm still kind of playing around with it to see how effective it is for my audience, because I don't necessarily want to cancel out the 30 hashtags, because I feel like it's something that works for me, and even in current time it still works. So I think the important thing is to understand the reasoning behind hashtags, trying it out for yourself, and seeing what works for you. I think if you use 30 hashtags, that doesn't mean that your content is completely going to shit. I honestly think it just means, like, make sure that you're using them in a way that's effective, and that way if you're consistently getting an audience and people engaging, people following you, people, you know, buying your services or engaging in your content, it's what works, right? So hashtags primarily are created to, it's usually created for search, right? So if you think about, like, let's say the Black Friday thing, if we put hashtags about Black Friday, about content creation, about hashtag course, when people go up there and they're looking for courses, and let's just say they type in courses, they can see that your content is underneath that hashtags. So hashtags are purposely used for people to be able to search in Instagram. Also, it's good because when your content is relative, so if they search courses, or let's say they search content creators, maybe that's a hashtag that I've created to use for me selling the course, they're able to find a course that's specifically for content creation. So not only is it used for search purposes, it's also used for just topic-based purposes. It's easy for you to attract audience towards you when you find people are searching specifically for things that surround your actual content. So the important thing about hashtags for me is not how many that you use, but it's more so making sure that it's relative to your brand and relative to the topic that you're talking about. So if we're talking about Black Friday and selling a content creation course, everything that is surrounding that, your hashtags need to be in line. And a part of doing that is just do your own search on Instagram. Like one day, just, you know, if your brand is a shoe brand or apparel brand, look up different things like boutique or new shoes or certain things like that to understand what actual hashtags are popular. When you look them up, you can kind of see how many people are using them. I usually try to encourage people to stray away from the ones that have like millions and billions of people using them, because it's going to be harder for you to kind of be seen, or it's going to get lost in the feed. But as you explore and you play around with different hashtags, you'll kind of see what's effective and what works for you. The great thing about Instagram is it shows you how many people are engaging with your content from hashtags, and specifically from just like being on your page, and that's a whole nother thing. But as you experiment with hashtags, you'll see that the strategy is not one size fits all. That's why I believe this 3 to 5 thing is effective when it comes to starting off and just saying like, okay, I'm going to use only 3 to 5 that are specifically for what I need. I think they're really just trying to get you to focus on only using hashtags that are relevant to your content. So that's all I have for you today. I know I talked a lot, but just I want to recap to make sure we got all the information that you guys need. So we talked about social media graphics and how they need to be clear and legible, so that way it appeals to your audience and it grabs their attention. Make sure they're on brand, so you want to make sure you have a brand kit that has your colors and your logo, so when you create those graphics, they know that, hey, that's Ashley Goode or that's Samantha King, whatever you're selling, they know the brand. Samantha King, I just made that up. Then also you want to make sure your social media graphics goes with the captions so it flows. And then we talked about engaging captions, which you want to make sure you define your brand voice and understanding. We talked a little bit about brand personality to define whether or not, you know, what kind of style your brand is. Is it sassy? Is it fun? Is it professional? And that'll essentially tell you what kind of voice you need to use and the tone you want to speak in. And then we also said you want to make sure it, of course, goes with your social media graphic to reflect the topic that you're talking about. You want to make sure you determine the type of length that works best for you. So it's okay to try long captions versus short captions to see what works best for you and your audience. And then lastly, we talked about hashtags. Mainly, when you think about hashtags, I don't want you guys to feel pressured, but also just have fun with it. Try different things. Make sure it's relevant to your content. If you find something that works, keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this was so helpful. Definitely, if you have not, click the subscribe button. Also, I hope to see you guys in this next video. If you have anything else you want me to discuss on branding with purpose, let me know. But I'll see y'all in the next video. This was long.